Every gardener likes to be the first one on the block to have the first ripe tomato. And so we tend to push the season planting tomatoes earlier and earlier. But we need to remember that they are warm season plants and they really prefer warmer soils. We can go to all sorts of extents to try to protect our plants from cold temperatures in the spring. In recent years, a study was done by Virginia Polytechnical Institute that actually studied how some of the cold protection methods work in the vegetable garden. The three things that they tested were a wax paper hot cap and a milk jug. That's kind of a home technique where you cut the bottom out of the milk jug and place it over the plant to protect it from the cold. The best technique for protecting your tomatoes in the early part of the growing season is the plastic tube or the wall of water. They provided the best buffering capacity to the plants. On warm days, the temperature inside of the structure can get up to 32 degrees above air temperature, so sometimes temperatures can be very warm. But in nighttime conditions, they also provided a buffering capacity of about 3 to 6 degrees above air temperature to give your tomatoes that little bit of extra protection. The other techniques, the plastic milk jugs was actually the worst. They provided no buffering capacity with nighttime temperatures, and so there was no heat gain in the nighttime hours. The wax paper covers provided a small benefit, 1 degree above air temperature during nighttime temperatures. So the best one out of this study was the wall of water. Now, unfortunately, all of the plants that were given cold temperature protection, once the protection was removed, were shown to be taller and spindly and less of a dark green color compared to a control planting which was not given cold protection. They also found that the protected plants had a lower dry weight measurement, and they also had a lower fruit set on the first fruit cluster. So there were some drawbacks to using these techniques. All of these cold temperature protection methods were found to decrease light transmission by 70% or more, which also contributed to the plants being taller and more spindly when the protection was removed. But they did find that plants did have ripe fruit sooner. In fact, the wall of water had the first ripe fruit about 10 days earlier than the control plants, and the hot cap protection plants had fruits about 6 to 7 days earlier. So if having that first fruit is your goal, these could help you along with that technique. One final benefit that these protection methods can provide your plants is wind protection, which can be an important factor in the spring, especially if your garden is in an exposed windy area. Protecting the plants from the blasting of the soil particles and sand onto the leaves can help them to do better and be more vigorous in the spring as well.